Well, good morning. We're out here in the shop getting things started. Oliver's with me. I'm going to get some work done today. I have an electrician coming here hopefully in 2 days if everything works out. And he's going to be disconnecting the big metal lathe there behind me. And I can finally get that thing out of the shop here once it's disconnected. Hopefully, yeah. I don't know enough about, wiring type of stuff to mess with it. And we need a new panel over there and all kinds of stuff. And Oliver and I installed a pellet stove to help with the heat situation out here. And so Oliver got that started this morning. I'll show you here, over there in the corner. So if you hear like little things clicking, that's what it is. It's the pellets going into a little hopper down there and burning. So, but it's pretty nice having some heat in here now. We do have the big furnace thing up above. As you can see sticking out up there, and it works okay, but I'm not really a big fan of oil heat. I like to have other types of heat. But I want to talk this morning here real quick in this video about beware of Christian occultism. All right, the occult is a system of revealing certain secrets, special secrets to people, and there are these hidden things that only certain people can understand and whatever, and you have to join secret societies and go through these secret initiation oaths and all this other stuff, and then you'll get into the deeper mysteries and everything else. And many people don't realize that there is actually a lot of that within professing Christianity. I'm going to explain some of that. I heard recently somebody in the comments section said that Joe Rogan now is going to church. And I thought, oh boy, because what people don't realize is the churches are actually very much occult. They have phallic steeples on them. Again, understanding Greco-Roman architecture, the obelisk in Freemasonry is a uncircumcised male member, is what that symbolizes. And it's the rebirth and all the other stuff. I can't get into all the really dark stuff. I've studied that. But there's no steeple. There are no church buildings in the New Testament, and there are certainly no steeples. Where did it come from? It came from the occult. So you get people that want to get initiated into the ancient occult mysteries, they go to church buildings. And I'm not being sarcastic and whatever else. That's what they are. You will never see anybody in the New Testament having a church building and going to it and there to worship and whatever else. It's not in there for a very important reason. And that's why these church buildings are just filled with sexual perversion and all sorts of other problems. So if you are somebody that's into Satanism, which I believe Joe Rogan, I think, was a member of the Church of Satan for a while, if I remember correctly. And of course he has this all-seeing eye symbol on his, like the Joe Rogan Experience thing, it comes up. And so if he wants to get into higher level Satanism, he needs to go to church. But I saw this little thing of him where he talks about this. I thought, really? He said he's going to church now? I looked it up, and he says about they had something there. They're all sitting around smoking and whatever and using profanity. And those Christians, they had some kind of special thing back there. Just, it's so ancient. It's just such an ancient thing and whatever. If we could just figure out that, just how to get back to that ancient thing. And I thought, you don't have to try to go back to the first century to see what Christianity is all about. Right now, there are Christians that are alive right now that have a connection to the Lord right now. Those of us that are born again, we have, the same kind of religion that they had in the first century. The only difference being that there are no sign gifts right now because the nation of Israel has rejected the Lord. And so those initial early sign gifts that were there and that you read about in the book of Acts, they were given to confirm the word because the word wasn't fully written yet. And, and the sign gifts always appear when you're dealing with Jews. They aren't just for Gentiles to, I see signs, so I'm going to get saved. The Greeks seek after wisdom, but the Jews require a sign. All right, that's why they were given. Please understand that. All right, but see what were the ancient practices? And there's some kind of this magical thing there. See, it's occultism. I mean, just Call it what it is. If you're looking for this some kind of secret, arcane, ancient wisdom that we can't find anymore, that's occultism. All right? And again, the first century was great, no doubt about that. But if you really want to see the true power of the Lord, look after when the Bible was being translated. You had the John Wycliffe. He was the one that started it with this thing of, how can you attack or take away the power of the Catholic Church? And he was a priest at the time. Well, what if we could give the people the scriptures in their own tongue, their own language, that they could understand it themselves? Then people could just read the Bible, and then that cancels out Roman Catholicism, because all you have to do is read the New Testament and then look at Catholicism and say, oh, they're not the same thing. It's not the church that Jesus Christ founded. Okay, settled, done. And so that's what John Wycliffe wanted. Problem was that they didn't have any kind of printing press back in the 1300s. So you go along through the progression, the next 200 years go by. You have John Huss, and then after him you have Martin Luther and William Tyndale. Luther in Germany, Tyndale in England. And you have the Gutenberg press invented. And all of a sudden, Tyndale's New Testament and Luther's New Testament, his Heilige Schrift, now it can be printed, mass printed. And now people can have the Bible in their own language and available that you can have the entire thing. And of course, it's, perfected and perfected and perfected till you get to the authorized version of 1611 for the English-speaking people. And the translation quality of that has never been equaled. And of course, they printed that, and then they refined the English language even more till you get to 1769. That's your modern King James Bible. You don't have to have a 1611. It's still a powerful, great Bible and everything, but the 1769 is great. It's even better. So we have something that's better than what they had in the first century, yet people today are looking, what did they have in the first century? We can go back to that. You don't need to go back to it. We have something better today. Look at the freedoms that came as a result of people having the King James Bible. Look at the power of different ministries and things. And, we still have it today. And that's why the devil came along and he said, oh, but there's ancient wisdom. We found older and better manuscripts. And they're these 4th century documents. And we can redo the Bible and we can change the Bible and whatever. See the occultism? Okay? The Lord's doing things and progressing the body of Christ forward, making it better with time. And the devil comes along and says, no, we need to go back to more ancient, arcane wisdom. Okay? If you go into a Christian's home, you don't look for their oldest Bible. All right? The oldest Bible is falling apart. The old saying goes, if your Bible's falling apart, then you won't be. Something to that effect. A Bible that's falling apart belongs to a Christian that isn't. Something along those lines. It just stands to reason if Christians are using the scriptures, then they would wear out. And they'd have to make a faithful copy of that and whatever. And that's the Lord's process of preservation. But with this occultism stuff, it's this, let's go back, let's find this ancient thing. And, I know that this Joe Rogan guy had this Wesley Huff or something, I think his name is. And I guess James White's getting too ridiculous and out of style, so they have to bring in a clean-cut young man that's, all fervent for Sinaiticus and all the other ancient manuscripts. And, we found this ancient little piece of paper, just a little tiny thing, and it's just proof that the scriptures are great and wonderful and God's preservation. Where you just use the King James Bible and have the right doctrine and everything else and the power of the Lord working through you. But, no, we have to support the new versions because it's a multi-million-dollar industry. That's what it is. And, of course, you have the Freemason philosopher, Manly Palmer Hall, coming out in his book, which I did a video on, showing the quotes from his book, not my opinions. And Manly Palmer Hall says we need to replace the King James Bible with new versions. And then you have the Second Vatican Council, the Ecumenical Council in the 1960s, and they say we need to make translations, new translations of the Bible, jointly with separated brethren. And then you have all these different, you have the Freemason Dewey Lockman coming out and buying the rights to the American Standard Version, releasing it as the new American Standard Version, and then he puts all of his money behind it to promote it and push it out there. You have that. Then you have the Freemason, I should say his father and grandfather, I think, were, and he bragged about that, John MacArthur, Dr. John MacArthur, and I think he was a Freemason as well. But he comes out with his Legacy Standard Bible, and he's been he pushed the New American Standard Version for years, and all these different guys connected with the occult, and they're coming out with their new versions. And then you have the NIV, New International Version, being translated partly at a university, the University of Salamanca, I think is what it was called. No, it's in Salamanca, Spain. I'm sorry. I can't think of the name of the university right now. But it's in my Real Bible Version Issue Exposed documentary. And so you have Catholics and you have Freemasons, going and spending all this time in the 20th century to bring out something like 200 new versions of the Bible, all claiming to be an updating of the King James Bible. Why? Because they're occultists. They are coming out and they're saying, we have some new secret hidden thing now, this ancient manuscript, which Sinaiticus is just a 19th century forgery. It's not even ancient. That's a whole other issue. But so that you have that. And then now you get this thing of, what about the Shroud of Turin? What are your thoughts on that, Brother Brian? Why should I care? Oh, hey, we found this ancient manuscript, or this ancient piece of cloth here. I wonder if this is the cloth one of the cloths that Peter had when he was in the book of Acts, and Paul might have used it too. Even if it was, even if I could say, oh, this is the actual cloth there. Oh, it's the real cloth. Why would it matter? I found the actual plate that Paul, ate off of. And I found a strap of one of the sandals that Jesus wore. Oh, really? Oh, wow. And this old piece of wood. Oh, look at this. This piece of metal here. This is actually one of the part of one of the stakes that was used to hammer Jesus to the cross or something. What does that do? Even if it was, which is not just a piece of metal, but what would that do? We have this piece of wood that we found, it's a piece of the actual cross, and you come over and you say a bunch of Hail Marys in front of it, cross yourself, hope to die. And do you get indulgences? You don't have to spend as much time in purgatory because you crossed yourself in front of a piece of wood. Pagan, occult, bunch of nonsense. Oh, but there's this special blood that we found on this Shroud of Turin, and they've done DNA tests on it, and it's not human blood. And what does it prove? I have access to the one who died on the cross. I pray to him, I talk to him, he gives me ideas for videos. He does miracles in my life, he answers my prayers, he's, you sing the old hymns, Jesus is all the world to me, my life, my joy, my all. He is my friend from day to day, without him I would fall. And the occultists are going, is there some kind of piece of wood that I can venerate that's, it's connected to Jesus somehow? What about the Shroud of Turin, the piece of cloth that he was buried in? Maybe it's got magical qualities that if I could go to. This come to the Lord as a sinner, stupid. Let's go in here for a minute. Just so happens I have a Bible in here ready to go. I'm going to give you some scriptures here. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 13 through 15, if you don't understand this. Down there's my Bible, right there. Okay, King James Bible. Best Bible that's ever existed. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. I saw Jesus, he showed up at the foot of my bed and he gave me this, he told me this thing, whatever. Book, chapter, and verse, please. No, I can see that it's an angel of light. Satan that you're in contact with. All right. Verse 15. Therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. So the ministers of Satan, actually, if you want to find a real true Satanist, look no further than church buildings. Look no further than the people that are always looking for some arcane, ancient, this great wisdom and whatever. You say, but you're doing it with a 400-year-old Bible. I don't understand. You're a hypocrite. No, I'm not actually, because you see, the King James Bible, what makes it special, what makes it that God chose it, is that it's written in proper English. It's written in the highest time of the English language, when it was developed the most. God says, that's what I want my word in. Oh, but what about the reformers that said that they wanted the Bible in the vulgar tongue of the people? Doesn't that mean the common street language? No, it means the common language of the people. It doesn't mean vulgar as in profane or something like that. Profanity. No, it doesn't mean that. What it means is they were saying, we don't want it to just be in the, for the priesthood in Latin, okay, the language of the Roman Catholic Church. We want the scriptures to be available in the language of the people, the common language of the people. English, German, Spanish, French, whatever. And they took the very best manuscripts, 99% of the manuscripts that were available, the extant, and it's still going on today, by the way, too. It's not just, oh, they found a bunch of manuscripts back then and whatever else. No, it's actually still going on. I think it's something like over 6,000 manuscripts that have been collated now that they've gone through, and they're always lining up with the Textus Receptus that underlies the King James Bible. Not these new versions. The new versions are based on less than 1% of the manuscripts that have been found. And again, they're a very dubious origin. They were created, the one that was created definitely in the 19th century. There's no question about it. Anybody that's honest, looks at all the evidence, would say, yeah, definitely Sinaiticus was a forgery. But they didn't even get all the pages the same color. Whatever. Some of them are white and clean. They're brand new. They're not from the 4th century. But watch out for this. Again, you'll see this thing with celebrity Christians. Old Joe Rogan, if he comes out and he says, I've made a decision now for Christ and whatever. Unless he would be completely broken, unless there'd be some major changes in that man's life, I'm not going to believe him. Just like I didn't believe in the conversion of Hulk Hogan and some of these other guys. They get saved and they just continue on in their sinful, wicked life. Friend of the world, highly esteemed among men. The Bible says if whatever's highly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of God. The friend of the world is the enemy of God. You can't be a Christian celebrity. It doesn't happen. If you are a celebrity that gets saved, you will be kicked out of your position and nobody will want to be around you. They'll say that you're an occult and whatever else. But you see, if you want to get into the real deep occultism out there, the really strong Satanism, go to a church. That's where it's at. Be not deceived, brethren. There's a whole lot of people out there that are out to try to deceive you. And if you think that they would never name the name of Jesus or that they would never say that they're a Christian, you're very new, very naive. All right? And I don't say that to be mean. I say that to wake you up and help you understand this very important issue. So beware of Christian occultism. It's very important to understand how that works. People that are looking for some hidden, ancient, secret thing when Jesus Christ is just right there. I'd say it this way just to kind of conclude. Right over there, back in there is my son. All right. I don't have to go and look for little remnants and secret things and try to figure out who this boy is or whatever else. He's right there. He's available. I can say hi to him. Hi.
Hi.
He said hi back. Okay? And it's the same thing with the Lord. You're not going to see him physically, but the whole point is he's there. He's nigh unto all them that call upon him. He's near. He's right there. You don't have to come here to northern Maine to my holy temple or something. I don't have one. But you don't have to make some kind of special pilgrimage over to the Jerusalem or something like this and see where Jesus died and the hill where he died and everything else. No, I have to, go over there and cross myself a bunch of times. You don't need to do any of that stuff. Just, you can meet the Lord where you are. He's omnipresent. Watch out for Christian occultism. That's going to be it. Thank you for watching.